Hi, and welcome to another lesson in our series of AutoCAD training. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at workspaces. So let's get into it. So let's take a look at customizing this workspace. So, as I said in the previous video, if I kind of come here to a quick access toolbar, and I click on that, there is a little option here to set the workspaces up here so you can see clearly what you're working with. But if you come down here as well, there's actually a little pop up here as well that you can change the workspace as well. So if you want this one or if you want to use this one, it's totally up to you. Again, this is the whole idea of setting up the workspace. But before you go too far, I'd suggest instead of modifying the current drafting and annotation one, leave that so you got a sort of a fallback in case you make a total mess of everything, and just straight away just do save current as. So before you do anything in it, do save current as, and this little save workspace option comes up, and just type in your initials or something. So yes, and something like that, initial workspace, that'll do. So I'll click save on that. So just call it something. And you can see we've got that set current. So whatever I do, I've got that drafting and annotation one to fall back on. Now, a few things you might like to change. So coming down here first, you'll probably notice one or two things on here that are maybe not on in yours. I can add them on. They get transferred across automatically when I update AutoCAD. So we've got coordinates on, model space, so that little model tab space. I kind of like to have that on. And then the grid, whether you use a grid or not, so if that comes on. I'm going to leave it on for now. I tend not to use the grid or the snap mode sort of too much, but we'll leave them on now because at the start of this course we'll kind of be having a little look at that. So with that infer constraints, then kind of got that turned on as a new one again. We'll be looking at all these throughout the video. So if you kind of look through there, those are a few of the things that I've got kind of turned on there on that. So that's about that. So you can kind of have a little look through that list and maybe turn a few things on. And as I say, as we go through the course, we can actually update this little workspace anyway as we go and as we need something. So that's a good place to start. Then up here, as I kind of said it previously, I do like to show the menu bar, so I kind of pop that up and pop that in. You don't have to put that on; it's not required, but you can pop that in as well. And you got that. And then this little ribbon here, so it kind of does take up a lot of space. So if you come along here to minimize panel buttons, so you can come along and you can kind of click through that, and it just toggles through. So it'll keep toggling through if you keep left clicking on it, and it'll toggle back to that, or you can kind of come up here and actually select it through. You can see it's on cycle through, so cycle through will kind of toggle through, but you can minimize the tabs, and you can kind of just toggle through like that. At that stage, I'm going to leave it out like that, but I know some people kind of like to kind of minimize it like that. You can still access everything there. If you go up there, you see, you can click it and you can still access, but it's kind of another click that maybe you don't want if you're going to use the ribbon, if you're not going to use keyboard shortcuts. Maybe another click you don't want to kind of tie yourself into on that. So there's that. So you put that one on. Then you might want to more or less, just if we get that and drag that panel out. So if you want to kind of bring that draw panel out here, so if you're doing a lot of drawing or dimensioning or something or annotation, so you can drag these panels out so they're closer to your workspace here. Now you may find they get in your way. Some people might like them, some people not. So you can kind of drag them down to there. And if I kind of hover over them, you see there's a little toggle orientation. At the minute, that one kind of expands that way across the other one, so you might want that. So just hover over that and click on that. Now it actually expands down like it does when it's up on the toolbar like that. Same here and that. So that one's over there. You might want it toggling down like that to get it so you kind of draw away, so you can kind of draw your lines and that. And you might want to bring down the modify one as well. So you might want to kind of pop them there like that, just so they're a little bit kind of closer to you. And then as you pop through the ribbons, they kind of stay open as well. They don't kind of close, so they're always available. So if you're doing a little bit of dimensioning, but you want the line commands as well, totally up to you. Some people like them, some people don't like that, the way it kind of takes up a lot of screen real estate on you. Totally up to you. It's just another suggestion. With this little menu system on as well, there's these little toolbars as well that you can add these in. So I come down here, we've got a draw toolbar. So if I click on that, this goes off screen. I have a few monitors going on here, so I just drag it into the screen. So you've got a draw toolbar there. So maybe instead of that, you might kind of like to have that kind of going on. And if you want to throw that one back up here, you see this little return to panel. So if I click on that, it returns the panel. Then let's check, did it go back? Yeah, it went back. Same here with this one, so I can come along here and check and throw that back, and this one here as well, and throw that one back. So you see they go back to their spot on the ribbon. So if you want to use a toolbar, you can kind of come up here. And if you go up here, you'll notice it kind of snap in there. It sort of docks. So you see it docks there. The only thing about that is it does take up another layer of your space, but if you wanted to minimize that, it'll kind of suck that up and kind of just, you can have that as well. So again, tools, toolbars, and if I go to AutoCAD, and I can kind of maybe find a modify toolbar as well. And you can pop that up there as well. So you can do that. You can have those there, and you can have your lines there and erase there, and so on and so forth on that. Okay, so that's just your workspace. So if I wanted to save that then like that, I'm just going to delete that from the screen. So if I wanted to save that at that, I can just kind of pop up here and save current as. I'm going to save it over my name, so DS initial workspace, and click save. Do I want to replace it? Yes, I do, because I've just updated it. So replace that and that. And then I can kind of come up here at any stage and I can go back to drafting and annotation. I've got that. And if I wanted to kind of come into my initial workspace there, I get that. And I've got that toolbar back there again. So you've got that available to you. So you can kind of set it up as you please in that, on that. And you're not going to do any damage because once you've kind of created that and you're just modifying your own sort of initial workspace, you're just playing around with that. You've always got the drafting and annotation to kind of fall back on.